And so we are like getting all excited about this. We got the products printed, we got them shipped out, but in the Q4 craziness, USPS actually ended up losing the package, which caused a bit of a panic for us as we had about 24 hours to figure out how we were going to provide them with the apparel that they needed to wear at the show that they were going to, where they were going to do this big reveal. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on another video from us here at the WingMan University. My name is Nate Hibbert, and today I'm going to be telling a little bit more about the story that I mentioned on our Monday night show, our WingMan weekly live show that happens on Facebook currently. It might be moving over here to YouTube soon, and those happen at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that time might change here in a little bit as we're moving into 2020 and our schedule is moving around a little bit. So stay tuned, but that is the time that we're currently meeting for that show. Now, if you missed our Monday night show, I do want to catch you up on what's going on in this story, but basically I have a friend inside of the music industry who has been working on launching some merch, with us for the last 6 to 8 months. And in that 6 months, we were talking about a lot of things, a lot of ideas and concepts for designs and all of that good stuff, but there wasn't really any hard deadlines until about a week ago, when he told me, okay, we have this big show coming up, we finally want to finalize this art, get the shirts ordered for ourselves, and then tell people about the store where they can go purchase them as well. And so we are like getting all excited about this. We got the products printed, we got them shipped out, but in the Q4 craziness, USPS actually ended up losing the package, which caused a bit of a panic for us as we had about 24 hours to figure out how we were going to provide them with the apparel that they needed to wear at the show that they were going to, where they were going to do this big reveal. That was currently a Wednesday. They needed the product on a Thursday, and I dropped basically everything that I was working on to figure out this problem, and the solution that I had thought of was find someone in his area or where he was going for this show that could do DTG and could make the same product. We might just have to pay a little extra for them to do it, but at least they would have it there, and everything would be okay. So I spent the day calling a bunch of screen shops, both in where he lived, so before they left for the show they could have it, or where the show was going to be. I think I counted, it was about 40 different print shops that I ended up calling, trying to get someone who could do a job in that amount of time. Now, this is the part of the show where I remind you that just like 3 or 4 years ago, I used to work in a print shop. I know how, screen printing works. I know the traditional way of printing shirts pretty well, and I understand that there are timelines that you kind of have to follow, and getting anything in 24 hours, unless you basically know the owner and are very good friends with the owner of that print shop, just isn't going to happen. But also remember that the reason that I actually left that print shop and the technology that has allowed me to build a business, DTG, is basically all I've been thinking about and really known for the last 3 years. This is what I'm doing basically daily. I'm making content on this. I'm, running a business with it. I'm showing people the benefits of this in our client side and consulting side of the business. And so for me, it's just a pretty common idea now. And even when I go out and talk to people, they're not, so blown away. And I'll find some people who actually understand like print on demand or the DTG machines that allow us to do that sort of thing. So me calling all of these print shops, I just figured that one of them would have the ability to print these shirts that quickly because they would have a DTG machine. But for the most part, I would say besides maybe 10% of them weren't able to provide any service like that. And even with a DTG machines, they would say that it would take, 2 to 3 days to get something done because of the amount of time that it takes to set up files and just make sure everything is. And so the purpose of me telling you this story is just like how mind-blowing that is, that in 2019, almost 2020, that if you call, these 40 print shops that I did, I didn't get answers from some of them, and some of them just weren't very professional. I didn't want to work with them. But it was just so surprising that, this technology that I take for granted that I've been using for our personal business for so long, it just is not widespread yet. And, even people who are in the print industry who are doing this day in and day out, don't have someone that they can reach out to get jobs done this quickly, or for a smaller scale, as I only needed a couple of shirts, just to launch this product, right? So I did kind of want to do two things with this video. Number one, I wanted to ask you guys, is this interesting to you guys? One, I guess maybe to hear about the problems that I'm having inside of our business and talk about them a little bit more openly here on the YouTube channel, kind of up-to-date stuff I'm going through, but also specifically about this problem, is it interesting to you guys to learn, the differences between DTG and screen printing and print on demand and kind of the traditional way of getting shirts and products made, as that's something I have a little bit experience in. I'm maybe not the most knowledgeable person on both of those technologies, but I think it would be interesting, even if I did some more research and showed showed you guys that research that I was doing of the differences between DTG and traditional screen printing. But regardless if you're interested in that or not, that's kind of the second purpose that I had for this video, was to remind you guys that we are still on the cutting edge for what's possible as far as apparel goes in this industry that we're in. And if you're like me and you like working with clients and people who already have an audience, which eliminates some of the need to do all the research and the data that Steven does, not saying that doesn't have a place, it's extremely important still, but for me, that's not the way I like to do business. So I found working with other people is very important, and part of that is kind of educating them on the difference between the two. So I do have, kind of list and benefits that I go over with most of the people that I work with. So I could show that off here, but I could also do more research. So I personally could be more educated, but also showing you guys, some of the tactics that I use to work with people, so that I don't have to do all the data that Steven does. So you guys can let me know what you think of all of that down in the comments below. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time here, as I know the holidays are right around the corner, and I want to be respectful of your guys' time. So this was just another idea, another thing that came to mind as we were talking on our Monday show that I wanted to share. I thought I'd give a little bit more context here and, kind of remind you guys that we are still on the cutting edge of this technology. There's lots of possibilities, and we hope to explore some of those possibilities with you in 2020. But until then, I'll see you guys around.